Hello everyone and welcome to our Forex training sessions. My name is Merlin Rothfeld from Online Trading Academy. Today we're going to talk specifically about pitfalls of Forex traders. Now there's a lot of mistakes that we can make along the way as traders, and certainly as those of you who are novices will learn, the more you do this, the more you learn, the better you become. But at the beginning you're probably going to make some very silly mistakes. So let's dive right into a really simple little quote here. It's not really a quote, it's just kind of a phrase that I thought was very relevant to what we're looking at today, which is, you will make mistakes. I'm going to even add to this, you will lose money. You will have all sorts of problems, but you better learn from them. If you're not the type of person who's going to learn from your mistakes, then trading might not be for you. Now, I have made hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of mistakes in my trading career of over 20 years, but what I've learned is every one of those should be a learning lesson. So what I try to convince myself is I didn't lose on that trade. What I did is I paid for a learning lesson. And there's a lot of really simple things that we can walk you through that should help you in your development as a trader and get you that point of consistency and profitability that we are all striving to achieve. It really is all about awareness, right? Understanding your surroundings, understanding your actions. So let's start things off with some of the mistakes that most beginning traders make. One of my favorites out there is called the one book fix. What that one book fix means is you're out there going into the Barnes & Noble store trying to find yourself a trading book on Forex, and you think that you're going to read one book and all of a sudden pin the ears back of some of the best traders in the world. Good luck, my friend. That's not going to happen. While you can glean some great knowledge from a book, usually those are old, antiquated, they're old-fashioned, they're using a style that might not even work anymore. So it's really about getting in there and getting your hands dirty and playing in that market and getting an education the right way. Now, the other problem here is looking at practice. There's an old phrase out there that says, practice is the mother of perfection. And if you keep practicing, whether that's in a simulator or in a paper account, keep practicing till you get comfortable and feel confident, that's where you start to get better. So it all begins with education, right? Don't read one book and think that's the answer. Get a real education on how to do this. Get out there and practice. Get in there with people who know what they're doing, get a mentor, and learn how to do this the right way. Not the way that you're going to learn on some of these television stations or social media sites. And if you're getting your Forex picks from social media, you're not really a trader. You're someone who's looking for somebody else to answer the questions for you. Learn how to do this yourself when you have a much greater chance of being a successful trader over the long haul. And isn't that all of our goals, is to be a professional trader and generate a living from this asset class? It's important to get educated about all aspects of Forex trading and markets and order execution, and we'll talk more about classes later on. Let's talk about our second major pitfall, and this is one that was very difficult for me when I started. I didn't start with a trading plan. I started with, hey, I want to make a lot of money. My mentor along the way said, look, what's your trading plan? What are your rules? I said, what do you mean? I'm just here to make money. He says, if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. And I thought, well, that's a pretty profound statement. Well, if you don't have a trading plan, your trading path will look like this image on the screen here, which is just a bunch of crazy roads all leading to some place you don't really know where you're going. So what is in your trading plan? Well, it defines your goals. Why are you doing this? Yes, we know you're doing it to make money, but let's go deeper than that. What is your why, as we like to say at Online Trading Academy? What's your trading style? Are you day trading? Are you short-term income generation? Are you long-term wealth? What's your purpose? What are your risk management rules? What's your money management rules? There's a lot of different pieces out there that we have to focus on. And while it may seem daunting right now, it's really not. It's really about taking a little bit of time to map out why we want to do this. Think of it like a business plan. If I'm a bank and you're coming to me asking me for money for your business, and I say, what's your business plan? Because you want me to loan you money, and you go, I want to make money. I'm not going to loan you anything. Why? Because I need to know the plan and the risk to me as the lender to you. Well, in this case, you are the business. So you need to approach it with, I have a plan in place, and here is how I'm going to get to my objective, whether that's to make $100 a day, $1,000 a day, or just to make enough money so you can travel around the world. It's up to you what those goals are, but you need to map out exactly how to do it. Now, I wanted to bring in an illustration which I think drives home, in a subtle way, the nuances of trading. And if most people are focusing on making money, they're blinding themselves to other factors out there. If you focus on just making money, you're kind of like the horse in this picture putting blinders on. Okay? The reason that this horse has blinders on is because we actually want this horse to focus on something. But what is the jockey doing? The jockey is the risk manager. The The jockey is the one with the trading plan. He's just using that horse as the tool to achieve his end goal. And you might be able to call this horse your trading platform or the asset class of Forex itself. Let's use that tool to achieve our goal. But I have to be the jockey. You have to be your own jockey and say, what's my risk management here? How much am I willing to lose on each trade, right? Focus on these things and keep your horse focused on the prize, and you can now be the risk manager. And what that means is you're focusing on trading for skill, not for money. That's the key. A lot of traders that focus on just making money, they end up losing it because they don't focus on the downsides. When we trade for skill, it becomes a profession. It becomes something we try to improve on every single trade that we make, and that's how you make it to the promised land. All right, if you're saying things like this, it says, oh, it'll come back. I had some phrases running across the screen here. Oh, it'll come back. What's the other one we love to hear? Oh, it's going to the moon. This is generally phrases from traders who aren't that disciplined out there and are trading off of emotion, something we teach about how to control and keep in check, because emotions can be the killer out there when you get involved in trading. So let's talk about external data-focused information. Right? When we look at external data focus, we're looking at how these markets work. We're looking at outside pieces. You will hear the phrase or a statement that says, trading is 70 to 80% psychology, and I actually believe sometimes it's 100% psychology. And what does that mean? That means that our emotions, our primal urges of fear and greed will just come to the surface. Your goal as a trader is to understand those, and not necessarily saying get rid of them altogether, but let's try to reduce the fear. Let's try to reduce that greed and learn how to control it, therefore we become less emotional. That, my friends, is what we call discipline, and discipline is the key to being a successful trader. Now, what are some elements of greed? What's a statement that you might hear that says, okay, I'm being way too greedy? How about, oh, we've got to double the size? Well, why would you be doubling the size, right? And there should be some reason if you say that, make that statement. It will never go down. I love this one. Oh, it can't go down any further. That's more fear, but it has to go up. This is another great greedy sign when people become overly biased. Also, another one that I've experienced over the years is people that think that they know everything. That is a sign of greed out there. Remember, as a trader, you will never know everything about the markets. It is always evolving. It's constantly changing, which is why I love being in this space, because it keeps me on my toes, and I'm always looking for that little edge, that new piece of information, new technology, new rules, which will help me be a better trader. When we look from the greed side, that's obviously the positive, almost over-optimistic. Let's look from the fear side, right? We have some traders out there, I'm too afraid to get in the markets. There's a lot of reasons that we have fear inside of us, and some of them are logical, some are actually irrational. So let's look at some common fear statements. I'm going to lose all my money. Well, let me just tell you this. If you say I'm going to lose all my money and you start trading, you probably are going to lose all your money, right? We need to have some positive factor out there. Like, how about I'm going to make the best trades that I can and hopefully make some money in the process? Another fear statement, I can't afford to lose this money. And this is something that all of us at Online Trading Academy would agree with. If it's scared money and it's money you can't afford to lose, you should not be trading it. There should be risk capital that you can't afford to lose. And fear is also, I could be wrong. Well, it's okay. Let me ask you this. Is it okay to be wrong? The answer is a resounding absolutely. I'm wrong all of the time, and it's okay, because when I make a trade in any asset class, I have three pieces of information on that trade at all times. I have my entry price, I have my stop loss, and I have my price target. That means that I'm trying to make a certain amount of money by hitting my price target. I'm also trying to protect myself from massive losses by having a stop loss. And we'll look at risk-reward ratios in future sessions. So my reward is always going to be greater than what I am risking. Therefore, in the long haul, I'm going to make money as a trader. Other people fear failure. Well, failure, in my opinion, and others might disagree with me, but failure, in my opinion, is when you fail at something and you just leave it at that. Look, failing in trading, meaning you have a couple bad trades, and you learn from it, and you overcome those problems and the reasons why you failed in those trades, that's called development. So it shouldn't be a fear factor out there. Don't be fearful of losing. Don't be fearful of making a bad trade. It's going to happen, period. Just accept that. Just make sure that when you do lose, that you do have the wrong trade, that it just costs you a little bit of money. This is why you should start out slow, and again, be very careful with that leverage, because leverage can kill you. Now let's talk a little bit about discipline. Discipline is really the art of routines and having a set strategy and tactics in place so that when you do enter into a situation, you know exactly what you're supposed to do when. Just like a fireman arrives on scene, he knows, okay, if I see this situation, here's what I need to do, and not only what I need to do, but here's what my team members are going to be doing, and I trust them to do what they have to do. The unusual part about trading is we're the only team members here. So when we arrive on scene for a trade or an incident, we have to know exactly what we're supposed to do when. So here are some of the things that break down people's discipline and cause them to fail. Number one, not following the trade plan. If you don't have a trade plan, and I think that this should be two-pronged trade plan. Trade plan number one is your overall business plan. Trade number two is each specific trade you make. What's your plan on that one? That's why people fail. Not following the plan, having unrealistic expectations, meaning, oh, I'm going to risk $1 and I'm going to try to make $50,000. That is unrealistic, my friends. Not using stop loss is another killer for discipline. The most disciplined traders that I know are using stop losses regularly, and the reason for that is they don't want to take big losses because it will kill their account. The last one here is trading as a hobby. While you can, participate in these markets every now and again, it really is beneficial to you and your discipline and your trading style to treat it as a profession. Do it with regularity. And even if it's just, let's say your goal is to analyze the markets once a week and make more longer term trades, or like myself, making trades that last a day or two, get in there and be more active and make it part of your routine. There's very few professions that you can do, like trading, which offer the rewards of trading. Right? Most people have to work for somebody else. You got your 9-to-5 jobs, etc. This is very unique. You are the boss. You are the CEO of a trading business, so treat it like one and become more active. In the world of Forex, there's a lot of pitfalls. There's also a lot of great advantages. What we looked at here is just some of the major pitfalls out here, the ones that we see from an educational perspective to be the most common obstacles that people trip over and stumble and become a problematic factor for their success. So what I would encourage you to do is get an education. Learn about your own personal fears and greed factors. Learn about creating discipline, and certainly develop a trading plan so that when you do dive in and you become an active trader in the Forex world or any trading asset, you have a plan in place and you know how to achieve your goals. Join us in future sessions as we dive deeper into the Forex trading world.